Hey everybody, happy Friday. We are obviously always having technical difficulties. Today is nothing different, so I'm not sure why. I had to get on Sam's phone to do this today. My phone does not want to cooperate, and it's a special phone that I got just for this, so we're gonna have to figure it out. I have to call IT. Okay, so we're good. So first off, please let me apologize for not meeting with you guys for the past 2 weeks. We've had a lot going on. I think a hurricane, and honestly, I think the phone's been messed up since the hurricane. But anyway, our internet has not come back fully, I feel like, ever since that hurricane. So we're having all that looked at. But we had a hurricane, and so we didn't have good connection to do a live over here that day. And then last week, we kind of, spur of the moment, went to do a training at a conference in Dallas. Me and a lot of the girls from the clinic were declining him. Okay. Oh, he's calling your phone, Sam. Oh. Okay. Anyway, so, yeah, you're fine. Okay, we're rolling with the punches today. So anyway, last week we went to a conference. It was super fun. And one of the things I really wanted to share with you guys was it's just ironic how things happen and what you can realize on the back end. So we left on a Thursday. And so we were doing No Sugar November, obviously, and we definitely followed that as close as we could, as close as possible. We were out there. But, you know, we didn't... We went out there, we were in class all day for 12-hour days. It was very tiring, but at the same time, it was very interesting because I came back and Monday of this week, I have to tell you, I just had a great week and I felt wonderful. And so when I thought about the live today, I thought about, you know, it's just funny to think that sometimes it has nothing to do with the medications, the supplements, the diet, the training program, or anything like that. It has to do with educating ourselves and kind of rejuvenating our spirit with people around us who we love, and that is sometimes more uplifting than anything. And so I know for me, I have to be creative and really kind of have a new thing that I'm excited to share with all my patients. Every so often, because that's what life's about. It's about changing things up and being open and curious as to what other things could possibly help us to do a better job for you. And I think that that's a big thing of what we stand for here, that human beings are not stagnant. Life is not stagnant, and medicine should not be either. And I think that we can easily get in a rut where we want to see our patients and we want to follow the insurance-driven protocols and guidelines and the prescription driven protocols and guidelines, meaning that we want to see you and check your boxes, and if you have 5 of your boxes, then you qualify for this diagnosis, which then qualifies you for your medication that now your insurance should cover. They might need an authorization, all kinds of other stuff. But anyway, my point with that is it's easy to get caught up in that and not treat your patients as each individual. And so I like every so often going to educational conferences that really just speak to my heart about the fact that, you know, it is great, again, that we have all this traditional medicine that is very evidence and science-based, but also you need to rejuvenate yourself with what else is out there and how many other things could possibly help your patients, because prescriptions are not the end-all be-all, and they all come with some side effect or consequence. And so you have to fully treat the patient from the inside out and listen to them and not go in automatically thinking, what boxes can I check to give them a qualification for a diagnosis? One good example I have is that I was listening to a speaker who I've actually listened to 5 years ago, and it was the same story 5 years ago, and as you started to say it, I really just loved remembering that. And she said, you know, there's a quote given by a very famous guy about a child seeing a bird. And so when a child sees a bird, before they know it's a bird, they notice the feathers and the maybe nails of the bird and the beak of the bird and the wings of the bird and the little legs. And once that child, though, knows that when it sees all of those things together, that it needs to call that a bird, it never fully notices all the individual differences of the bird, right? And so I think that's a great analogy for where we are in medicine. We are driven to say A plus B equals C, and what are we going to call this disease? Because then we qualify that for all these things, but then we're not seeing our patients as they are, and we're not seeing every bit of them, and instead we're labeling them with a diagnosis or a disease process instead of listening and really honing in on even one maybe little difference that they have that's super important, that maybe would drive you to think in a different direction than just trying to check the boxes to see what disease process they actually qualify for, what you can call this, by name. So I that just really speaks to me. It spoke to my heart 5 years ago. I feel like it's a big part of what we try to do here with true progressive but individualized medicine, and we are forever trying to learn new things. So thank you for bearing with me that we did not do a live last week because we were completely engulfed in learning. And it was some great stuff. Hormones, obviously, which is one of my favorite things because it's truly the root of every function in your body. So we learned all about that, a bunch of thyroid stuff. So I'm going to give a great talk next week on thyroid in particular, because after I thought about it, we haven't had a thyroid talk. So what I want you guys to do is send me throughout the week questions that you have on thyroid. Maybe you have thyroid issues. Maybe you think you do and you're not sure. Maybe you know someone who does. So any questions you have about thyroid, please send them. And then next week we will do a very deep dive into thyroid because we haven't done one of those actually in a while. So at least once a month, I want one of these to be very educational for you guys about a true medical issue and how we kind of look at it over here. So send me all your questions. We're excited to hear about that. Other things in the news. So we did in the past, well, I guess it was kind of the week before November, we started No Sugar November on our DS Renew Facebook group. And again, we are still working with our website managers to make sure that we can kind of cross-link Facebook with email and other avenues and platforms for you guys to use, even with regard to these videos, because I know not everybody is on Facebook right now. And so I hate that we can't reach everybody who may benefit from these talks or even just want to be involved in them. So we are working on that. But in the meantime, we do have our Facebook group, which was amazing. I think we got 250 people to join in the first 24 hours, and it is just fun to see how our patients even come together with us and encourage each other. And there is just there's nothing like it. And so I just want to thank all of you that done that. It's been fun and uplifting for me. And I gotta say, even being a part of that has kept me on track with regard to doing no sugar. And we're actually doing no sugar, no grains, or any of that over here at the office. Some of people in the office are not so compliant. I'm not going to name any names, I'm just saying. But anyway, so we like to pick each other. It's just fun. It's fun and encouraging, and it's fun when you do things as a group and you can kind of like feed off of everybody else's energy, right? And so I can tell you, though, something that I have learned in doing that is it's just truly amazing when you really get inflammatory processes out of your body, how really beautiful it can be for actually overall brain function, everything, but really the clarity of the mind. And so a lot of people have asked me, when did you first get into any of this? And that's really hard for me to pinpoint, but I can tell you that in college and probably in high school as well, I could out-exercise anything. I could out-exercise Popeyes. I could out-exercise Taco Bell, which was very good at that time, and all kinds of other bad things, right? I could outdo it. And some of that I'm sure is age-related, but another part of it is that I just don't think that much was actually being asked of me. So when I finally was in medical school and I was trying to get through rounds, mainly ICU rounds, I was just crashing at 2 o'clock. Which could have been for 50 million different reasons. I had a 1-year-old, I was in medical school, all those things. And so somebody mentioned on rounds one day, the Paleo Diet book by Rob Wolf, and that was kind of right when all of the paleo diet stuff was being talked about. And truly, though, I still go back to that. It was definitely life-changing for me. It was easy to read, it was easy to do at that time, and it was amazing the energy that I had and the brain clarity that I had throughout the entire day. And some of those days were really long. And that was when I personally probably had a transition in my mindset. It was a crossroads for me. Not that I was super unhealthy before, but that I saw that golly, just getting those inflammatory foods, specifically the sugar and the grains, out of my diet was empowering for my brain to function in such a clear way. And so it was very neat for me to do the no sugar, no grains November thing with you guys again, because I definitely could attest to that once again. And it was funny, after a week or two, I thought, man, I remember what this feels like. And I would have told you again that the girls of course make fun of me because I throw away liters of Diet Coke around here. So it's really funny that I would have said I was pretty healthy overall, but I certainly wasn't reading every single label if it was organic and natural and whatever. I was surprised, I'll be completely transparent, that my peanut butter, which was my all natural organic peanut butter, the second ingredient was sugar in it. Now it's natural cane sugar, right? But it's still sugar. And so it's in so many things. And I think it definitely speaks to where we are in our world of, it's hard. We don't live on farms. We don't eat fresh off the farm every day. And so you're buying things and you think you're doing something that's the healthier option. And although it probably is, it's not perfect, and sometimes it's far from. And, if you're giving your kids peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every day, okay, totally, I can attest to that. I truly thought, I'm putting peanut butter, that's great, it's full of protein. Well, if the second ingredient is sugar, how much protein they're actually getting? And then they're getting that sugar all day long. So, of course, there's balance, and of course, there's different ways to look at things, and you have to find out what's right for you. But even the little steps you can make, I think, can go a long way, especially when you talk about setting an example for your children, who, as we age, we're just going to live in a more processed environment in general. And so how do you kind of combat that within what you're capable of doing? So that's what we love to help you do here. Again, I know I probably say this the last couple of times, but we have loved having Sam here, our new nutritionist and fitness trainer. She has been amazing. I say all the time, I'm good at telling you what to do. She tells you how to do it. And our team approach here that we've kind of transitioned into is just getting amazing results. So we definitely wanted to take that one step forward and offer our DS Renew Yourself Facebook group. And so the goal will be that every month we'll have a new little theme, and it will also correlate with things we're doing in the office, so that everybody can kind of keep the encouragement going. And it's fun just to learn ideas from other people. I've personally learned things from my patients on there. So with that said, our special for November is our Carb Crave Control. That is actually a very awesome herbal supplement that has a couple things in it. One of them is a Chinese herb that's over 2,000 years old that actually blocks your taste buds for sugar. And so it even will make you not like the sugar as much. And so it helps kind of overall fat burning and metabolism, and kind of cuts the carb craving. And so those we do 1 before each meal up to 3 times a day, 1 to 2. It has some green tea ginkgo, so it is a little bit stimulating. So some people love that, some people don't. Most people do. And so that is on sale. I'm not sure, Sam, what is that? I think it's buy one, get one free for the month of November. Oh, it's on her phone that I'm using right now because mine didn't work. Okay, anyway, so definitely sales on that. We have a bunch in because we just launched that product. Getting great feedback from it. We love it. I love it. I haven't had to take it as much because I've been doing good once I detoxed off the sugar. So anyway, we do love it. I think it's great. And it's pretty safe for really anybody to take. But certainly ask us before you start it, because we'd want to make sure it doesn't interact with anything and it's truly safe for you. That said, we also have our free Slim Shots, and a couple of you have been asking what that is. For us, it's a methylated B12, which is highly absorbable, and that also goes. And so our Slim Shot is a methylated B12 shot, so truly something that's going to be more likely to be absorbed and utilized in your tissues and your brain than regular B12. Along with methionine, inositol, and choline. Inositol is a beautiful hormone booster and kind of fat burner with those other two. And then we also put carnitine in ours. So I would tell you, if you come get a Slim Shot, and a lot of you qualified for a free Slim Shot when you signed up for our group, do it and then work out that day, or at least within 24 hours. And the hope is that it helps support you to get more out of your workout, build muscle, burn fat. And that's kind of what we're all about here. We are not about losing weight super quick. We are not about only eating 800 calories. And, I say all the time, you could eat licorice all day and be skinny. I guarantee you it would not work out for you long term. So we really want you to lose fat, build muscle. From the time of about 27 for women, a little bit older, early 30s for men, you really start to lose your hormones just naturally. It's an age-related process. And so you're going to have to change things up and do things differently as you age. Doesn't mean that you throw in the white towel. It's just that what you did now definitely is probably going to be different than what you did 10 years ago, and we're here to direct you for that. Certainly your genetics matter more as you get older, and so you need to, we love to do our nutritional genetics to help you really hone in on what you should do for yourself. From a genetic standpoint, at a DNA level, things that you're not going to change, and so you work with it. But a lot of what we do here is supporting your natural physiology, not giving you medications to suppress your normal physiology, but supporting the natural physiology to really get better results than you're going to get long term on just throwing a medicine on to treat a symptom, but not getting to the underlying root cause. And so that is hopefully what we're doing by incorporating all these different avenues to interact with you and really support you on your journey to make your next season better than this season. And I think that's really what we try to help people with here. When you take on the journey of being a healthcare provider, being a physician, having that patient-doctor relationship, a huge part of that, for me at least, is I want to make your next season better than this season, right? I think we are all on a journey, for the last season, right? And you want that to be the best. And so we are here to kind of support you into that next season. We're not necessarily wanting to give you a medicine that you're still going to be taking in your next season or forever. I think that, again, and I've said this before, we keep people alive longer than ever now. But man, do you want to spend the last 5 or 10 years of your life looking at the wall, not knowing where you are? So I think that it's amazing. We have wonderful tools and techniques and even pharmaceuticals that can help keep us alive longer, but they're not perfect and they're far from it. And so we want that quality of life to be better and better. We want your next season to be better than this one. We want you to outbeat yourself, right? And the way to do that is to stay 1 foot in front of things that can come up and live a preventative, well lifestyle. And there's a lot of information out there. And so we want to be your quarterback here. We want to help you figure out what's right for you. So with that said, we are also going to be partnering with Green Fork. Hopefully Trey over at Green Fork, he has offered to do meal preps for you guys for our group. So more to come about that. Look for a post on the website because I know a lot of people were interested in that. And so those are, extra steps that you can take to, make it a little bit easier to continue to do the right things and go in the right path. So they are great over there. We love them. We love to do their juice cleanses as well. We're doing one today. So some of you have actually been given a prescription for that. So we love them, and we love the idea that they have offered their services to us for our group. So they are just absolutely great. So the other thing I'd like to say is that we have now not only myself, but 2 other physicians here. Dr. Fussell has been with us for a couple months now, and she is amazing. We are loving her. We are eating her up. She is on board. She loves everything we do, and she is now a huge part of what we do here. Just know no matter who you see here, I'm going to be gone for Thanksgiving. And so they will be here. We all practice the same. They all wanted a job here with me because they believe in what we do here. They are going to treat you no different than I would. And I'm actively involved in the driving force behind every patient that walks through the door here. So I'm excited to have more to offer for you guys and more people even to interact with. And it was funny. I have a very close relationship with my patients, and I had a good friend tell me, it's okay if your patient doesn't see you every time. She talked about her personal coming into the office a couple different times, and one time she did see Dr. Fussell, and the other time she did see one of the nurse practitioners, and she said that she learned something different from both of those interactions. Sometimes it's good to get different perspectives, right? So just know I'm the driving force behind this clinic. That will always be the case, but I would never put someone here who I didn't have 110% faith in, that we are going to do things together as a team and really, truly, probably offer you more together as a team than I could ever offer you here by myself. So Dr. Gaddis will start next week. She is from Lafayette, like me as well. And something very cool that I'll share with you about her and myself is my doctor in Lafayette, who was my family doctor for a very long time, actually left private practice and went to teach at the residency right before I did my training. And so I was actually taught in residency by the same doctor who was my doctor growing up for our family. She's very special to my heart. And so she also trained Dr. Gaddis, and so kind of helped helped us meet up and kind of work together. And so I'm very excited for Dr. Gaddis to start with us next week. So I think we have a really good team here. We are going and growing. We are excited to help you and be here for you during this crazy, crazy time and kind of be the solid ground where you can land. We are here to support you. We are here to support your mind, your body, and your spirit. That's what we believe in here. We want to be here for you in any way that you need us. So thank you for all of your support and of course interaction on these, and send all of your questions for thyroid by next week. And then what will be our giveaway today? That's a hard one. Maybe somebody can suggest. Who wants to suggest? I'm reading. Somebody suggest what you would love for me to give away today. I'm trying to think about thyroid, how we could do something with that. I guess, you know what we could do? We could give away a 30-minute consultation. So anyone who has thyroid issues, we will give away a 30-minute consultation with Sam about a thyroid diet and kind of an overall educational. Okay, Andrea says a hormone. Oh, that's a good idea. So hormone support is a good idea. Oh, we do have a lot of those. Okay, see, I have to be careful what I give away too, because there's like national back orders on everything, and so I make all these promises, then I can't keep them. Okay, let's do this. Let's give away one hormone support over here, because thyroid is a hormone gland, and inevitably, I know next week I'm gonna have to go into the whole hormone thing because I'm just not gonna be able to help myself. So we're gonna do it. So we're gonna give away one Carb Crave Control today, one hormone support, and then also one of our Primal multivitamins. It has a ton of iodine and selenium in it, which is good for thyroid among a full multivitamin. So we'll give one of each of those away. And I did forget to talk of one thing. Let's talk about it with the No Sugar November. I kind of got distracted, but let's talk about sugar. Let's talk about that real quick. And that has been a theme. I know I told you guys I wanted to talk about something that's been coming up within the clinic, within patients every week, and that has been a theme. And interestingly enough, I've had to have the insulin sugar talk with a lot of really healthy individuals lately who are really doing a lot of the right things, and that is concerning. And then when you really dig deep down, there's a genetic component, and maybe they are still, really wanting their ice cream at night. So, Oh, I like Melissa's idea about the new. Oh, yes, we have the new Omegas in. We're definitely giving those away. We are. Like 3 of them. They're my favorite. Okay, my one favorite thing is definitely the Omegas, and the blue bottle is just so awesome. I'm like obsessed with it. Okay, so we're going to give away 3 Omegas, and that's a lot of things. Okay, so let's talk about insulin and sugar. So if your doctor has not, and if I'm your doctor, hopefully I have, gotten a fasting insulin on you, and we've talked about this before, but we're going to do it again. You need to have that done. Let me tell you why. So what happens in our body when we take in sugar? Now, when I say sugar, I'm talking about any carbs, really good or bad, okay? So, and we've talked before about glycemic index. Well, glycemic index is something you take in is a relative proportion of sugar with carb, protein, fat. Well, carb, protein, fat, okay? So that is the way in which skim milk is way worse for you, way higher glycemic index than whole milk, right? You're taking all the protein and fat out, and you could say maybe that's good for some people, but truly low fat is not necessarily better. And a lot of times low fat is high sugar, right? So that is kind of the misconception. So I would argue that whole milk is better than skim milk. At least when you're talking about working your pancreas, right? So the pancreas is our organ that really is the front line army, so to speak, for sugar intake, sugar, carbs, whatever. So when you take in carbs, sugar, your pancreas gives you insulin, right? And so you have 2 sets of your pancreas. You have one set of cells that gives you insulin kind of all the time to keep your sugar in line. And then you have another set that says, okay, you just took in sugar, I'm going to turn on and work a little bit harder, right? And so those 2 need to communicate and work well. And some people, one part of the pancreas works better than the other, vice versa. But you get the point. So the body, the human body, is super amazing in the fact that it always wants to maintain homeostasis. It wants balanced, and it's very adaptive. Okay, that is what makes this so awesome. But sometimes the adaptive nature of your body is what works against you. And in the face of diabetes, sugar, the world we live in, it definitely can, and it does in Louisiana more than anywhere else. So when you take in sugar and your pancreas is giving you insulin, if it has to do that all the time, at some point your pancreas says, okay, that's it. I'm aggravated. I'm having to turn on all the time. I'm overworked. I'm like enough is enough. I'm going to reset and I'm going to give you this much insulin all the time. Okay. So meanwhile, if we checked your sugar in your blood, we did a little finger prick or we took your blood count, we checked your sugar, it would look normal, right? Because your body is doing what it needs to do. Your pancreas is turning on what it needs to turn on. It's giving you, it's adapting. It's like, I got you. Keep eating the sugar. I got you, right? And so meanwhile, you think everything is normal. Maybe you're getting dizzy in here and there because you're getting a little too much insulin for a second. Things are, kind of weird. You're like, what's going on? But when you check your sugar, they're like, no, it's not a sugar problem. I'm telling you, in fact, your sugar looks great. So you just don't know. You check A1C. What's an A1C? Well, that's a 3-month average of all the sugar in your body. And so that looks great. And they're like, no, we did the second test with the A1C. It's totally fine. Meanwhile, the pancreas is overworking. At some point, and usually that point's about 7 years, at some point, your pancreas will have overworked so much that it's had to turn on, and your insulin level's so high that it runs out. So like any other organ in your body, the insulin can run out at any moment in time, but it usually takes about 7 years. So at that point, when the insulin runs out is when you actually start to see the sugar levels in the blood rise, right? So then that is when historically, and still by the book, so to speak, your doctor would start to say, oh, wait, your glucose is 101, 102. Ooh, wait, there might be something going on. Well, let me tell you what, there's something going on. And there's been something going on for about 7 years, right? So this, to me, the sugar issue is a great example of how current traditional preventative wellness is voided. It's really not serving us, right? So if my insurance or my preventative wellness package includes checking my glucose, and you've all probably filled it out for your insurance at work or wherever, checking your glucose, right? And or an A1C, if you're lucky, they're gonna add the A1C, they're gonna be like, we'll cover that. And it's normal, well, that's not the picture. You still may have had something going on for up to 7 years. So by the time that's abnormal, the pancreas is already super sick and sad, right? So, and then they're like, you're borderline, just watch the carbs, come back in a year, we'll check it again. No, bad idea, right? So checking a fasting insulin should be, if you're worried about your sugar, family history, you just want to know, you're like, oh, Dr. Ramsey, I'm cheating on the no sugar November, I can't handle it, whatever, you really need to look at a fasting insulin. And let me tell you what else affects insulin: stress, cortisol, right? So now more than ever, you may see, and I would tell you, my belief is that that's why I'm seeing it in the clinic so much more, is because, look, stress is all around us. And when your body is under stress, it says, I need food. And in fact, I need some carbs, because I need to be able to get up and run, fight or flight at any moment, right? That's not what we do. So then it starts this cascade. So I would tell you, if you have not had your fasting insulin checked, and what would be really cool is to, we should have done this, now I'm thinking on the back end, but your fasting insulin, and then do a no sugar challenge for 30 days, 3 months is even better, and then check that again. That is awesome, right? So we know, and it really should be less than 10, less than 8 if you want to be super strict about it. So to know how your pain ability to come back and work for you, but guess what they need? Rest, recovery, right? Which we talk about all the time. So does your adrenal gland. So to try to keep it simple and in line with our No Sugar November and our carb crave control and all the things we have that are super cool to do for you way before we're having the discussion that you have diabetes. And even if we have that discussion, we can still fix it. Don't worry. You really need to look at, make sure that you're doing with your wellness labs or whatever, at least yearly, that you're doing a fasting insulin. To me, there's so much more information in that one number than that sugar level random or that A1C. And so honing in on that is really staying a foot in front of things that are going to come up, whether it's now or in 7 years. The other thing to know is that your brain cannot use sugar. So, that keeps everything in check with, hey, let's feed the brain with everything it really needs to function well. And that's really important right now, right? So that's your little pearl for today. Check your fasting insulin, know your number, know your A1C, know your sugar, right? But actually know your fasting insulin. That is a big push in pediatrics, the childhood obesity epidemic. We do check fasting insulin in the peds, and that's where a lot of the talk started. But truly, that really goes in my mind for anybody, any adult. Your fasting insulin is truly, in my mind, the one best number to tell you about your overall glucose, carb control really in your body, the homeostasis, what your body is doing with it. Is it communicating correctly with all these hormones, or are you stressing it and taxing it too much? The beauty of human beings is that we can withstand, right? So you can do a lot of things for a long time. Your body is very adaptable. But currently with the current recommendations, I would argue that by the time we tell you something's wrong, it's not the appropriate time. It's already been going on for, on average, 7 years, and up to 80% of your pancreas is sick at that time. So that's not necessarily the way to do it, right? So that's what we're here to tell you. Easy little things, easy things to check. I mean, I think even if you're interested in pay for it, it's not a super expensive test, but it's a beautiful way to really look at staying 1 foot in front of and knowing where you are. Knowing and understanding your body and where you are is the one most important thing, and that's what we love to do with you, right? Help you, to educate you on all of the options in a crazy world of a lot of opinions, all of the right things for that are good for anybody, really, are good for you. And what's good for you might be different than your best friend or your husband or your dad or your sister or your dog's cousin or whatever. But we want to help you understand you and do what's best for you. So with regard to the No Sugar November, that would include knowing your fasting insulin, okay? So I hope all you guys liked that. At least we did get some education in, because I felt like we had been missing that most recently. Love all of you. Thank you for sharing all of this with us. We are definitely in here to encourage you and inspire you to be your best in this season and be even better in next season, and that's for the rest of your life. And we are excited to be able to spend that life with you on that journey. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. It is beautiful outside right now. Hope that this is helpful, and please send your questions on thyroid and hormone to us throughout the week, and we will have a very good educational spiel on Friday, because I'm sure I'll be all on cloud 9 with all these new doctors here to kind of teamwork alongside me and keep doing what we think is right, the right kind of medicine for you. So love all you guys, mwah, mwah, and thank you for being with me today, and thanks always for putting up with our technical difficulties. So thanks for joining us for Living Your Best with Dr. S, and until next week, we will announce the winners of all of our free stuff that turned from nothing to a lot of things then too as well. All right, bye-bye.